Well, we do see a lot of the solar water heating. That's pretty popular right now, and so is the gray water systems. There's a lot of people trying to get those in. The only problem is that you might see 5 totally different type of systems. There's not, you have there really isn't any organization as far as we have it in our code book, but they're not really truly followed. You usually have, plumbers are usually not trained into it. You don't, as a plumber, it's not your first nature to want to do gray water, and as an engineer, they kind of stay away from it too. So you have the concerned citizen homeowner wanting to push for it, and they want to come up with their own system, which may not be conducive with building codes or regulations or cross connections or what have you. But and you see a void there between the plumber, the homeowner, the engineer, the different areas, and then you might have a problem with an orphan system, a system that may have somebody spent lots of money and energy to put in, and then maybe it's not being maintained or properly, it's not operating properly because of some of the systems they have. They require more maintenance, versus like he was speaking earlier about just a simple back-to-back plumbing, stacking your distance. It's easier for the installer, it's quicker, it's something that a builder or a plumber is very apt to do, and it is very energy sensitive, but I don't see a whole lot of, because of the size of homes and things we have. We have bathrooms, and the way we have our things designed today, they want the bathroom at the furthest possible point away from the water heater, or the usages, and and the houses are large, so, but I think the gray water is one question that we don't, I've seen different systems, but not one that, when we'll see if we see anything here today, but I haven't seen one that's been a regular system.
So systems are allowable. It's not like there's a moratorium on.
Yeah, they're allowed. It's just there's it depends on there's regulations in the uniform plumbing code. It shows that what your allowances are and how you size it and how you install it, but it doesn't seem that they get there's not much. They kind of use it. Oh, that's a good idea, but I want to do this, and there's a lot of education to deal with that, to get it out there to the public, as far as what is a good sanitary system. As any jurisdiction, the job is to protect the public and use their expertise and their experience to protect the public and keep their system sanitary. And it's something that does operate, and it's listed and approved and proven to work, and it's safe.
Do you think that people understand how these systems work, other than the people who want to install them?
I think in general they do, but some of the systems are more complicated than others. They seem like they take a lot more energy to save they're kind of like spend a dollar to save a dime. But some of them are very simple, and they are very effective, and I think the consumers do, they like those systems that are simple and easy for them to maintain. They'd be more apt to use it and more apt to maintain it, and there it would be more effective.
It may seem counterintuitive, but in Southern Nevada, we actually we don't issue permits for gray water in our urban area, and the reason being is that all of our water ultimately gets recycled by the municipal utilities and recovered, 100% of it, for reuse by the community, either indirect or direct reuse. And one of the things historically that's happened with gray water systems is the people who have them are huge advocates. It's their lifestyle. It is the way they live. They implemented it. They jumped through all the flaming hoops of the regulations and everything so that they could use that gray water, and they get great results. But I don't think enough research has been done on what happens when you build a a subdivision where the builder puts that technology into the house, but these random homeowners who choose to live in these houses are tasked with having to understand how to use them, how to properly maintain them, and so forth. And I think there are a lot of potential unintended consequences, and not all of them human health. But I know in Perth, the Water Corporation of Western Australia did a study, and they gave 90 some odd homeowners gray water systems. And they, of course, projected a certain water savings for each of those homes. On average, the homes drew 17,000 liters more potable water than they did before they had the gray water system. And what they think happened was that those people rationalized that now that I have the magic box attached to the house, I can take longer showers, and I can wait for hot water, and I can do all this stuff because it all goes in the magic box. And then the magic box, of course, is free water that I can use to irrigate my garden more aggressively. And so talk about unintended consequences. And I don't know about your cities, but in Las Vegas, there are homes in seemingly decent neighborhoods that have Christmas lights hanging on them in July. And I don't mean July today, and those lights were put up in 2006. And I don't want those people to have a gray water system. I don't know about you, but I think what we need to look at there, though, is I am an advocate of let's find a way to use gray water to flush the toilet. Let's find a way, because we're not losing that water. It's low risk, and there's not a huge risk that people's behavior, that they're going to rationalize the squandering of the resource when you're doing something like flushing a toilet with it. And they are doing that with irrigation. And in fact, the theory in so many organizations, the theory has been we're going to regulate efficiency, or you can use gray water or recycled water. Well, how can you not afford to do both? Because water is so incredibly valuable, no matter its quality, that we have to manage all of it aggressively. And so I think it's premature to start building 250 home subdivisions and plumbing them all for gray water and everything else. I think we're going to find out in the future it doesn't always work just as we planned.
If I could just make
Yes,
one other
please.
point. I think, with gray water systems, we get a lot of pressure from environmental groups to make, like for our WaterSense Homes program, people wanted us to make, to allow the use of gray water or alternative sources as a way to offset some of the efficiency that you might not achieve on other aspects of the program. But I mean, we, we agree kind of with Doug, is that you have to design the whole home to be really efficient, and then you can use other sources of water, but you don't want to be wasting water in your toilet or other area, and then just have this other source of water that you're going to waste. The other thing we find with gray water is that it's defined so differently everywhere in the country. And EPA has some guidelines on water reuse, but it's by no means a uniform set of standards for what is or is not gray water. And then I think the other problem we hear about from manufacturers of products is that, and I'm speaking specifically about plumbing products, is that they don't know what the quality of that water is that would be coming from a gray water system, and so they don't know how to warranty or whether to continue to warranty their products if it's used with some sort of alternative water source. So, we need to sort of catch up to the enthusiasm about gray water on some of these other issues about how it's used and where it's used and what's the appropriate use of it before we can just really go wholesale into the use of gray water systems.
So Craig, this touches on something that came up in one of our conference calls in terms of the behavioral side of things. And I want to put that out there for you, but also from a technical standpoint, I mean, the brands that Masco has under its umbrella have developed some really interesting and innovative technology to reduce water use in their faucets and shower heads. Could you maybe talk about first, within the Masco brands, the development of technology and describe some of it, as well as, I mean, I'm curious, is there any kind of exchange of R&D between brands, or is everything developed under Delta or Alson's separate R&D, by the brand?